A solid start, but too many mistakes doomed the Bengals in another preseason loss. Mike Petraglia inside Soldier Field. Here on Saturday afternoon, the Bengals beaten up 27-3 by the Chicago Bears. Are now 0-2 in the preseason. Matter of fact, the Bengals have dropped 8 of their previous 11 preseason games. They're 2-8-1 in the preseason dating back to 2021. But here on Saturday, it was a promising start against number 1 overall draft pick Caleb Williams, the new Bears franchise starting quarterback. They held Williams and company to 3 straight 3-and-outs to start this game. Good secondary defense, good run-stopping defense early on the first 3 defensive drives for the Bengals, and it gave Logan Woodside, the starting quarterback for the Bengals, some opportunities early on. The Bengals were able to move the ball somewhat, but again, too many mistakes and too many failed attempts to pick up pass rushes really doomed the Bengals offense on this day. It led to 2 Logan Woodside interceptions, including one in which the Bengals were approaching the Chicago red zone after a couple of nice plays and a 4th-and-1 conversion. But again, a pressure on Woodside led to a tip pass and an interception at the 16-yard line, and that drive ended right there. About the only positive offensively for the Bengals was at the end of the first half when they went down the field and got into scoring position, and it was Evan McPherson, the newly minted Evan McPherson, connecting on a 54-yard field goal in some rain conditions, and it was good to see that after the rain that the Bengals experienced here on Thursday. They were able to apply some of that here on Saturday afternoon. As you can see behind me, the weather changed quite a bit throughout the afternoon. We had some heavy rain, we had some cloudy skies, we had some sunny skies on what was a humid day here inside Soldier Field. But in terms of the mistakes that the Bengals made, 11 penalties, 123 yards in penalties on the day, and it was a rough day for rookie corner Josh Newton. He committed a pass interference penalty of 42 yards when he grabbed former Bearcat wide receiver Tyler Scott by the neck, tugged at him a little bit. It was clearly a penalty. That was a 42-yard penalty down the field. But again, the Bengals defense rose to the occasion in that instance, holding to a Cairo Santos 37-yard field goal, and it was 3-0 at that point. But on the next drive, it was Caleb Williams over Josh Newton connecting with Rome Odunze for 42 yards down the left sideline. On that particular drive, it was Caleb Williams able to run in for the touchdown to make it 10-0 again. A field goal by Evan McPherson made it 10-3 before halftime, and the Bears tacked on 17 more points in the second half. A tough day for Josh Newton, but after the game he said, look, I had an up and down day. There's a lot to grow on from what I went through here. In the end zone behind me, it was Josh Newton not reading outside leverage properly, and he allowed Dante Pettis to get outside all alone for a touchdown, and that was the 3rd Bears touchdown of the day. That kind of put the game out of reach for Chicago. In terms of other notables in this game, Jermaine Burton was back taking punts in the first half for the Bengals. He had 2 punt returns in this contest for over 50 yards, so he did show some flashes there. Charlie Jones, he dressed in pregame warm-ups but did not dress for the game, so even though he was a hometown hero, he did not get a chance to play in this contest on Saturday. Chris Jenkins had his first sack in a Bengal uniform. That was against Caleb Williams in the first half. He said after the game he didn't have much time to celebrate it or think about it because that came on 2nd down, and his focus was to get to the next play and get the Bears off the field, which the Bengals defense did. So Chris Jenkins broke through here with a spin move on Saturday afternoon and flashed some of the potential that made him a 2nd-round pick for the Bengals this past April. In terms of other notables, Ryan Rico, the rookie punter out of BYU, he had an uneven day. The stat sheet will be a little bit more kind to him than the actual punts showed. He only had a net average of just over 40 yards. His best punt of the day came right behind me in the back of the end zone where he got off a 53-yard punt, and Bengals special teams held the Chicago Bears to a -3 return. So that was a net 56. But Ryan Rico had a couple of punts of under 40 yards in this game, and certainly the Bengals will like to see that improve if he is going to challenge the injured Brad Robbins for the starting punt job here on the 2024 Cincinnati Bengals. After the game, really, Zach Taylor said it's all about improving upon and correcting the mistakes that were made. 11 penalties, 123 yards. You're not going to win many games preseason, regular season, or postseason playing that kind of football. Bengals are off on Sunday. They'll be back on the practice field on Monday. Joint practice with the Colts on Tuesday, and the final preseason game next Thursday night at Paycor Stadium against the Indianapolis Colts. We'll have you covered, as always, on CLNSCincy.com. Be sure to follow me on the X, @Trags, TRAGS, and, of course, my YouTube channel, youtube.com/@JungleRoarPod. The final again inside Soldier Field. The Bears 27, the Bengals 3. Mike Petraglia, CLNS Media.